Hi everyone, I'm here today, briefly and awkwardly, to talk about my new book of fiction, All Gods Die and Other Stories. Briefly, because you all have important lives, important things to do. Those reruns of Friends aren't going to watch themselves, you know. And awkwardly, because self-promotion is awkward. It's also necessary. There's a lot of fiction being published these days. A lot of it is really good. It's really hard to get noticed. So I will, the deal I've made with myself is I will do a little bit of self-promotion, but not a lot. This book will be for you. The kind of fiction I most enjoy writing are stories where the rules of the story world are getting changed as the story is happening. That makes it challenging and easy to write stories that people don't understand, because the way an author makes sense out of what they're being told is by having stable, the story world having stable rules. The story world works in a predictable, knowable way. But it fascinates me when characters, human and suprahuman, are messing with the DNA of the universe. And no one is quite omniscient or omnipotent, and human beings can, change the DNA of the story world they're living in, but no one quite knows where it's going. And one way or another, that's going to happen in every story I write. I find that fascinating. Please know that even if I've never met you, I think that there's a kind of contract between author and audience, or maybe we could even say covenant. You owe me, there's a kind of obligation that you have to me, not to like everything I write, but to be fair, and not unduly critical. And if you don't like something that I write, say so. That's fine. It really doesn't bother me. I don't take that as, it's not anything about me as a writer. Writing can be brilliant. It's just not exactly for you, maybe. And there are books out there that I know objectively are just wonderfully written books, just not the kind of thing that's really going to be special to me. But in this contract or this covenant, I've worked really hard to discharge my obligation to you. I've read books on how to write better. I've been working on this for over a decade. Not every single day, but for about 18 years. There's not every single day, but it's rare to have a couple weeks go by that I'm not trying to write. So I've done everything I can to avoid you feeling like I wasted your time by the time you're done reading. The title story, All Gods Die, it's about these centuries-long descendants of a group of astronauts that have gone to an alien planet. Their descendants have completely forgotten where they came from and who they were, the Stone Age technology, and they're under the thumb of this being who they think is a god but actually isn't. And the main character is going to be a Moses-like figure to lead them out in freedom from this, tyrannous, oppressive worship and the miserable lives they have. Like Severian in the Book of the New Sun, though he's a Christ figure who's clearly in need of redemption himself. There are other short stories. There's one about a man trying to propose to his girlfriend, and a ghost keeps getting in the way. He's been haunted for a number of years. And this young couple loves each other. They want to get engaged, but the man is worried, my haunting is going to be bad for my future fiancée. At one point he says to her, have you started to hear a sound when you go to sleep at night, like breaking glass? And she says, I have started to, like a cat screaming down in the alleyway. And his eyes flare and he says, I'm bad news for you. Stay away from me. And she says, no, you don't get to be a martyr. Tell me what's going on. Most of the stories end happily. I believe in happy endings. I've had more than my fair share of happy endings myself. Not all of them do. There's one story where a character says to the main character, this is the closest to forgiveness you're ever going to get. And she believes him. It's about one of the worst things you can say to a human being. It doesn't end well. There's a story about the biblical king Manasseh, set in a futuristic science fiction setting, which I think is an interesting idea. Manasseh is interesting because his father Hezekiah is deeply pious. Manasseh, in contrast, throws himself into idolatry. If there's some kind of pagan idolatry that's going to work, he's going to find it somehow. He even sacrifices his own son. That one's called I Am Your Son That Was. Hopefully not too much of a spoiler there. There's a story about an Ethiopian tribesman who's estranged from his tribe for reasons that you learn. Living up in the very high foothills in Ethiopia, 2 Swedish scientists are on the run. They did an experiment that worked, and reality is changing in big, scary ways, and they are on the run. One of them learns how to communicate with the tribesmen, and reality breaks in a way, well, I think it's interesting. The last story is called Campfire Stories. I could have called it Stay at Your Post. It's about a magic campfire. I know this sounds corny, but it's about a magic campfire where men can meet and the normal walls of space and time fall away, and men can meet there, from centuries in the past or thousands of miles away. And each one who comes finds what they need. They find the courage that they need to keep going, in ways big and small. So this is all God's die. Can I, with all modesty, recommend it to you? Can I ask if you like it? Amazon reviews help a huge amount. Even going onto the Amazon page and liking other reviews, it gets the algorithm working. If people can repost this video, it's a huge help. I'll only ask for this once, but I'm willing to do a little bit of self-promotion. Honest reviews help. Sometimes books get published and their friends will publish really vague, will put like really vague one-line reviews on Amazon. They haven't read the book. If you don't like it, bad reviews help, believe it or not. It's better than vague reviews, is what I'm saying. So could I please recommend it to everyone? And if you're able to, if you could retweet this or repost it and spread the word as much as possible. Thanks, everyone. And I genuinely hope you enjoy reading. Thanks.